I did early this morning and I avoided the crow territory. I think I'm just going to like permanently, oh wait, I'm not even on video. I'm just going to permanently avoid crow territory.
How many blocks is that? Did you say like 4 blocks?
It's, yeah, the territory where he's like followed and harassed me is probably, it's probably 10 blocks.
Wow.
Yeah. And then this last time when it was so funny, I was like, oh, there he is again. I'm going to have to videotape this. And then all these birds started flying onto the wire with him. And I was like, this is freaky.
You got a crow following you?
Yeah, Dana and Kate are very aware of the story. So Kate, sorry to bore you.
That's weird.
But yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I noticed that this crow was like, caw, caw, caw. Like, you know, I finally like took out my headphones. I was like, that crow like is in distress. Oh no, he's mad at me. Like he's like cawing at me. And like, as I'm walking down the street, he's like going from like telephone wire to tree branch to house to the, and like deliberately sitting there and cawing at me.
That's
so
weird.
I like, it's like for 2 blocks all the way around a big circle, another 2 blocks. And finally he kind of lost interest. Right. So I texted my bird ladies, Dana and Kate, and I was like, what's going on? So Kate, of course, was like, oh, well, you just need to show the crow, you know, you're new in the neighborhood. The crow's just saying hello. Greet him like he's your new neighbor, you know, with kindness, and maybe carry a little piece of bread in your pocket and put it down.
Or maybe a shotgun.
Right. No. So I do all of those things.
Sorry.
Right. I'm like, you know, I like put a piece of bread in my pocket. And then the next time I go around that circle, sure enough, I like step into his area. Here comes the crow, right? Caw, caw. So I'm like, nice to meet you, crow. You know, I'm new in the neighborhood. And I put down my little piece of bread. And then I just kept walking. You know, I don't know if the crow took it or not. Well, next time I go back on that route, here comes the crow again. Clearly not bribed, right? And then by this time I've told my sister and she's like, oh yeah, crows hold a grudge. You got to be careful with crows. They recognize a face. They hold a grudge. I'm like, oh my gosh, now I have a grudgy crow, right? So I write to Kate again and she like sends me some articles on crows' aggressive behavior, and she tells me to try peanuts. You know, so now I'm like carrying peanuts in my pocket and laying it down for the crow, right? And I mean, it's maybe happened 5 times. So I just started to kind of avoid the area because I did notice that the crow was coming further north, which is like closer to my house. Right. So
talking to you.
So I was like,
that crow to know where you live.
Obviously a crow has like a big stomping ground, right? But the places that he's been following me is like over a 10 block thing. And I have like video documentation. This crow is a badass. Yeah, Dana, you've seen it, right?
Yeah, he's definitely he's not backing down and very, very loud.
Yeah.
They are very loud.
So yesterday, I was like, I better go see if I've made friends with the crow or if he's still holding a grudge. So I like went down the block, went around the circle, came back. I was like, oh no, you know, as soon as you think it, like jinxed, here comes the crow, right?
With some of its friends, is that what you said?
Yeah. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, I got to get another little video for Kate. And as I turn up the video, literally crows, like 10 crows, Dana, right, started flying in from all over to sit on this wire.
Because they when they don't like something, they're like grouped together to scare it away.
Yeah, you should see them go after a hawk in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so that's what I'm worried about.
There'd be like 200 crows going after this red-tailed hawk.
Yeah, they'll gang up on you.
Don't make me too paranoid. So then I
don't want to be reading about some kind of weird news article in Washington about a woman attacked by a bunch of birds.
Sorry, I literally, like, I had that feeling of like, oh my God, I don't want this
Maybe
crow
he's
to know
not.
where I live. So I like walked the other direction away from my house until it stopped following me and then like scurried home. But I'm just like thinking, oh, I'm going to look out my window one day and there's the crow.
Just waiting for you.
Yeah.
With 100 other birds.
Yeah. Where's our bread, lady?
Maybe it's some kind of spiritual thing, though. Have you thought of that? Maybe it's trying to communicate with you in some kind of.
Oh, your spirit animal is a crow.
Well,
mm-hmm.
The dark side.
A dark side, exactly. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know why crows, just because they're black and loud, calling and aggressive.
Yeah,
they're very smart.
Yeah, they're very.
Why are they always considered evil? That's what I was going to try to.
Because they eat dead bodies on the battlefield.
They're not the only birds that eat dead things. Even an eagle does.
It's not that bad. I just Googled it, of course.
Oh, goody.
They associated with emotional change and transformation.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the first part? What in transformation?
Crows symbolize transformation and change.
Okay.
They're watchful creatures that have a sharp and powerful foresight.
Like Dana said, they're really smart.
Adverse outcome, then you must remember that it's just one of the many possible results. You can tap into the potent power of this bird to transform the bad into foresight or something useful.
Oh, okay.
The crow represents change or transformation. But much more than that, it refers more to a spiritual or emotional change.
Maybe it's warning you.
7 species of crow in Ireland? What? Holy shit.
Just thought I'd throw that one in there.
Wow. I had no idea.
Well, I didn't either. I just Googled it.
Are there ravens in Ireland as well?
I don't know about ravens. I don't see many ravens. I mean, I do see ravens here, but I don't see many in Ireland.
I like it when they chortle.
Yeah, they have a lot of vocalizations.
Yeah, I think
They're
that's
having a big conversation when we had I sent you the picture, Laurel, of the bald eagle with the.
Yeah.
I was in the kitchen and I could hear like these crows going crazy, and usually that tells you that something's happening. So I went outside because they were really close to the backyard area in the green space. And I was looking around and I realized once I walked back there that there was a bald eagle. And I think it was a male because it wasn't that big. And so I went out there and joined in with the crows and started clapping my hands. And I was like, fuck off, go away, bald eagle. You live by the river, leave. I have cats here. And when I started making all the noise, the major body of crows left, and they left 2 sentry crows behind. And those crows, I mean, Peter and I watched this for like 45 minutes. They perched themselves on either side of the eagle, really, really close. I was surprised at how close they got to the eagle, and they were kind of clacking their bills. And one of them, I had my binoculars out, one of them was picking lichen and moss off the branches and kind of throwing it towards the eagle and picking up little tiny branches, just like kind of like, you know, basically watching him to make sure that he didn't really go anywhere near their nest. But it was just fascinating that and I'm like, did they leave 2 bored juveniles to watch these crows? Were these 2 grannies that didn't have anything else to do, you know?
Or is there a nest nearby and that's why they stayed? That's usually when I see a group come around, it's kind of like Astrid said, there's a hawk and then there's like 1 or 2 and then there's like just flying in from the neighborhood. They're like, you know, like a siren going off.
I think we have at least 3 within like this block radius because they congregate like over this way and then over this way and over this way. But when they have their big conventions, that's really cool as shit. When like all of them get together and start swirling around and yelling, and it's amazing.
So do you guys get because I get mixed up with all the different, do you guys get rooks, R-O-O-K-S, rooks?
I don't know if we have rooks.
Yeah. I think we just have your standard crow and then ravens up on the mountain.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Symbolism. Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a nice little video because magpies are a type of crow, aren't they?
I think so. Yeah.
Because magpies are super. I mean, people always have things about magpies as well.
I don't know. What am I? Yeah, it does say
They
crow
used to
family.
be considered like witches, kind of witches birds, magpies. Chatter.
Cool
What were they were called something. They were called something else. We're called chatterpie. I think that's what they're called on the east coast of England. They're called chatterpies, which is instead of magpie.
Well, I watched the
little white stripe on their wing.
And blue and
blue, yeah, like
the
you know the poem, right? One for sorrow, two for joy.
No,
that sounds familiar.
One for sorrow, two for joy, three for a girl, four for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for secrets never to be told. 6 for 7. Yeah. So if you see, and I don't know if you ever saw, Laurel, my niece in Ireland, Cora, when you see one magpie on their own, that's bad luck because it's 1 for sorrow. Except if you salute the magpie. So see a magpie on its own, salute it, and then you've kind of undone the bad luck of only seeing one.
Well,
maybe that's what I did.
So now I'm going to be saluting magpies from now on.
Exactly, that's what I screwed up. I spoke tenderly to the crow. Yeah, exactly. Instead of speaking tenderly and bribing them with peanuts.
I watched this magpie family the other morning. There's just an abundance of birds here. It's a little bit absurd. And of course they all wake up at about 5 a.m. and do this like dawn cacophony. Insanity. And then finally everything shuts up and then the pigeons wake up. There's like starlings and finches and like all of them. But I watched this family of magpies. It was there was a great agitation in this big bush I walked by, and I stopped to look, and sure enough, there's a little fledgling sitting on the ground, just like a chirp, 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 just all agitated. And one of the parents is sitting in a branch, chattering at it, going, "No, you're doing fine, you're doing fine." And then the other parent bird, swoops up onto a little awning of like a portico over a row, like a townhouse, and starts chirping at the fledgling. "Okay, now come up here." It was basically a little, flying lessons, I guess.
Right, I guess
it's the cutest thing, but they were all completely agitated.
Wow,
it was super nice.
I love that.
Yeah,
teaching moment.
It's a teaching moment in the magpie family.
Well, you don't get magpies in the States, then, no?
We do.
Oh, okay.
We do.
We don't have them in my neighborhood, so I don't.
Not in Oregon, not like in Portland, but when you go east, those are magpies, aren't they, out there? I'm pretty sure they're a type of magpie that I've seen, like in Eastern Oregon.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
The black and white. The ones I'm thinking of are kind of a black, like the white tail you were talking about.
Yeah,
it's the tail's long. We don't have them. They're only in certain. Ashley's going to confirm for me, hopefully. We don't have them in Michigan. And the first time I saw them was coming out west. I'm like, what are those birds? Because they're kind of beautiful.
The Eurasian ones are particularly beautiful. Check this out. Let me see if I can.
But there was always this, I don't know whether it's true or not, that like they steal silver, like they like shiny things and bring them into their nest.
Those are beautiful. Yeah, we saw that.
So there's a million of them, like where I'm staying, and they have this beautiful, what's that called? Like the blue flashing.
Oh God, that's such a pretty color.
Yeah, plumage. Yeah.
That's Dana. That's your color.
That is my color, isn't it? Gosh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And a group of them is known as a parliament.
A parliament.
Oh, that's very regal.
Yeah. So Confederation crows with a parliament.
Look how beautiful they're in flight.
Wow.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
Nice.
There were a lot of them. There are tons of them right around here. Maybe I'll find you a feather, Dana.
Oh, I would love that. I collect feathers, actually. It's almost like at every entrance to our house, I have feathers shoved up underneath the shingles. Our house is made of cedar shingles. I have hawk. You're not supposed to have eagle feathers, but fuck it. If they drop on the ground, I'm picking it up. That everywhere. I must have 50 feathers stashed around my house.
For a reason? What's the reason?
They're sacred. They're part of, it's a Native Indigenous American rite. So white people ain't supposed to have them. But like I said, you know, if you find something on the ground, I mean, I have a raven's feather in my car that I found on the ground when I was camping. So fuck it. I treat them with respect. They guard the entrance to my homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just sent you a link. The American ones are basically Colorado to Central Oregon, California. It's mainly in the West, but they're east of the Cascades.
And you don't see those on the East Coast, right, Laurel? Because I don't remember seeing them.
I don't think so. I feel like I know them either from Europe, or are they in Asia as well?
They're western half of North America, from the Rockies to the Cascades, kind of.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember I see them in Oxford. I mean, that's the only place that I recognize seeing birds like that with the white stripe.
Fun fact, Dana, it is actually illegal to pick up an eagle feather if you're not.
I know.
Holy shit! I did not know
Why is that?
Wow.
What are you supposed to do with it? Just
leave it.
Leave it?
Unless you're Native American. They in turn do not gift them to non-Native Americans.
No. So I broke the law.
Idea. I didn't know that.
One of many times that I've broken the law. This one's a special law that I broke. I like that.
Hey, have you picked the Oregon State flower?
What is it? It's a trillium, right?
You've picked one.
No, you're not supposed to pick them. Because they don't.
It's like every 7 years or something.
Yeah, if you pluck the blossom off of a trillium, it goes into a hibernative state, and then it won't bloom again for a while.
Yeah,
they're beautiful flowers.
Oh, look at that! They don't have the blue. Oh.
Just thought it was another law you probably broke because you don't really care about the environment.
Well, you know, I years ago, I think I may have told this story. I went to the Pribilof Islands off Alaska and found some petrified fur seal bones and had to have a special permit from the tribal office to basically bring them back into the lower 48. And you better have that piece of paper with you.
Yeah, the one that the eagle feather is on my back porch, so nobody can see it from the front. You have to be invited into the inner sanctum.
I don't know. I'm calling the police.
That's what I'm doing right as soon as I get off of here.
I'm gonna call the tribal police and they're coming for you.
Yeah. I wonder how.
Just say it's an osprey.
Yeah, actually they look really, really similar. And this one I found over by the Tualatin River, which is like a mile from our house, where we used to canoe since we sold our canoe, and the birds nest by the river, so they're everywhere, you know. And I don't know, really, I mean, it's a feather from a really cool bird.
I'm not the one to advise. I already have like bad bird juju against me. So
I'm convinced that those birds like you. I think they're just letting you know who's the who.
I think so. Look, I just typed in, why do crows follow me? And it says the crow probably recognizes you and likes to hang around you, especially if you ever give it food, Laurel.
There you go.
I've three times given it food. But what's funny with this crow is that like there's other people on the street. It's not just like it's only me. And so a couple of times, like I'm walking down the street and the crow's following me, and I feel like the guy with the dog, I'm like, do you see this crow following me? He doesn't follow anybody else.
And have you talked to other people on the street about the crow following you?
Not on the street. I might one day. You know, when you're out walking at like 6 a.m., everybody's just like, either half the people are miserable with their dog, like this damn dog I need to take out. And then half the people are like, there's one woman who's like a superpower walker. Like I walk, but she's like got her, you know, she's got her strut and her stride and everything. And so I have thought about saying like, hey, like we're neighbors now, obviously. I don't know.
What if it's a known thing? Like what if the bird's just been harassing new people in the neighborhood for years, and you're just the latest?
Yeah, I could put it on. I could put it on.
The blonde lady who's getting increasingly more paranoid.
Maybe I should put it on like my neighborhood listserv. Like, Hey, anybody else get harassed by a crow at Grant Circle?
Yeah. Yeah.
You just know it's going to bring out hundreds of people who are having the same experience.
This girl is holding a grudge against multiple people. Actually, I think I will do that. That is funny. I've got some really friendly.
What you find out.
I'm going to do a loving kindness with a crow theme.
Okay, do it.
Chris, can you get on that?
I think with 7 species of crows, I think Ross has got a lot of material.
Yeah, exactly. Rose got the magpie a little poem to get her started already.
Yeah, before Chris gets in there with like songs with crows in them.
No, I'm expecting a salute.
So this is kind of an interesting crow.
Well, like the black crows, that's a music band. We can use them.
Yes. Right. So you were talking about a dog, and some people know, Kate knows that I've wanted a dog again for a long time. And my husband is he's just not into dogs. And that's what I've come to discover over the past 20 some years, which is a bummer for me. So I want to have a black dog. I've always wanted to have a black dog. Haven't had one of those yet. And the guy who lived down the street from us had this adorable black English lab named Noodle, who I fell in love with, and he has since moved away. But so my fantasy name for my black dog is Corvus, which is
Corvus.
Corvus, Corvus, like Latin.
Oh yeah, like a crow.
Yeah. Yes, and that, or if it's a female, Corva. So someday I will have my black dog, and she will be named Crow.
I love that you have a list already. I'm not a list.
Dog names.
One name, because I keep a list of dogs' names.
Do you
really?
Yeah, I've had a list for years. Yeah. I've had a list going.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. Yeah.
I've had a list. Yeah, but I've had a list of dogs' names like long before I've had like lists of baby names. I just always have.
Yeah.
I've always liked the name Rook, seeing that we're talking about names and crows and dogs.
Yeah.
Rook. For a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
A big black dog. I imagine Rook as being like a giant black dog, like the black shook or something, take you away.
I'd like my.
He's gonna be like this big.
I'd like my next dog to be like a Bedlington Terrier, and I would call it Quentin.
I used to have a Bedlington Terrier. That was our first dog. His name was
joking.
George. No, I'm not. We didn't realize when my Aunt Mary, who lived in Washington, D.C., rescued dogs. And my dad was busy working at the Pentagon a lot, and he thought that he'd get my mom a dog. And so my Aunt Mary shows up on the door with this scraggly looking gray dog that didn't have the proper cut or anything. We had no idea we just thought George was just a stinky mutt. And we took him to the vet, and the vet said, I think that this dog is a purebred Bedlington Terrier. And he gave him the clip, the Bedlington Terrier.
Oh, but I don't like the clip. The clip that makes them look like little lambs. That's weird.
No.
Yes.
They're just
Dad,
they're clipped.
My dad said absolutely not.
That's
weird. We let it grow out. It's super weird. And I don't understand what the whole.
No, I'm like, this is going over my head, the clip. I'll have to look at. I'm pulling up Ross's.
Like a lamb, Chris.
So I've sent you there's a photo. If you look at them on Google, when they're allowed to be natural, they're just.
Oh, really that looks bad.
But people cut them to make them look like lambs for shows, and they're super weird.
Why would you do that to your dog?
Yeah. But they are so adorable when they're like just their cute selves.
Oh yeah, my dad refused after we had him clipped that one time. He said, "That's the stupidest looking dog I've ever seen in my life." Yeah. He said, "No." So, George, that's a silly fucking Bedlington Terrier.
Yeah. But do you think Quentin would be a Quentin?
I wonder, are they hard to find?
They're
like a teddy bear. They're like a teddy bear with the hair.
Yeah. They're. I think they're unique. I think they were from Yorkshire or something originally, but there is a Bedlington dog rescue center that I keep my eye on.
I love that.
I'm doing anything like
Mm-hmm.
my little ones go to doggy heaven, but that's
Who came up with the idea that that's a good look on a dog?
The same people that decided standard poodles needed to look that way for jumping in the water.
Right.
True. I have to send you this one though, because this one is the best. This is like the best one ever. This is
I can't believe there is a rescue place just for Bedlington Terriers, and that you check it regularly.
This is the worst. The one I just sent, the Pinterest one, is the worst Bedlington picture ever.
Dana, can you see it?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell?
It looks like from a Star Wars movie. It looks like it's like you go into the Star Wars bar and that creature is there.
Wow, that one actually looks really big.
Yeah, it does. This body looks like a polar bear a little bit.
Yeah.
Chi-Town Terriers.
Oh.
Did you say
I've never seen those before.
Chi-Town.
You know, I wonder why the head is clipped like that.
Because it looks cool.
Well, George spent the rest of his life looking like a sheepdog, like just curly. He was curly gray with really bad breath.
Oh goodness. Okay,
so yeah, you have to Google Bedlington Terrier natural hair to get.
Yeah, that was George. He was awesome. I'll see if I can find a photo of him. I know that in our photo album, my brother and I, when we were little, somewhere in there.
We need to see that.
Okay, I'll find that for tomorrow.
Yes, and Rosaline will work on her crow meditation.
I'll work on my crow.
And Kate will delight at having listened to a half an hour of us chatting about animals.
Oh man. It's a dust mop.
What is that?
I have no idea.
That looks like something I just swept out of my mom's.
Yeah, exactly. It came out of Astrid's mom's attic.
Is that what the dog's supposed to look like naturally before they cut it? Then I would cut it there.
From Magic Roundabout. It's so.
Oh my
it's
god.
A Rastafarian doggy. That was good.
All right, boys and girls, I do have to go to bed. Can we meditate?
Yeah.
What is this? What is this sleep thing you're worried about?
I don't know. It's overrated. But you know the magpies and everybody else is going to be chirping outside my
That's
window.
right. You're up in 5 hours, one way or the other.